put this on the YouTube also as part of our requirements. Okay, we are live on YouTube. All right, I'm calling cause number 2013 DCM 3688. This is a hearing on a motion to modify and to confirm child support arrearage. The parties in this case are Jose Rodriguez and Ana Aranda. The record should reflect that Mr. Rodriguez has been served with citation. According to the return, he was served back on December 20th at some facility of the Texas Department of Corrections. Ms. Aranda was served with citation, and she is present at this hearing here today. I will tell parties that we are proceeding on the Zoom application because we cannot go to court. Courthouse is temporarily closed due to the pandemic. For the Supreme Court of the State of Texas has allowed us to proceed on the basis of a remote. I'll ask the parties, I'll ask Ms. Aranda not to, since this is being recorded, not to conduct yourself as if you were in court. In other words, to not talk over each other. I can only hear one person at a time, and this hearing is recorded. Those being the ground rules, I'll ask the Attorney General if he's ready to proceed in this matter.
Yes.
Yes. Douglas Canal for the Office of the Attorney General, ready to proceed on a default hearing.
All right. Ms. Aranda, would you please raise your right hand, ma'am? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Knopf, go ahead.
At this time, the state would offer an updated copy of its financial activity report. We initially included a copy of the financial report with our pleadings in this case, and now seek to have the following newest version entered into evidence pursuant to Texas Family Code, section 157.162. Copies have been sent to both the court and Ms. Aranda via email.
Right. Pending the receipt of that document by the court, judicial notice of the document. Go ahead, sir.
At this time, the state would also offer the offender information detailed search results from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and ask that that also be entered into evidence. This indicates that Mr. Jose Rodriguez, confirmed by his date of birth, is subject to an order of incarceration which exceeds 90 days. I believe his projected parole date, or his projected sentence date, is 2027. And that has also been sent out by email.
Okay. All right, pending receipt of that document, the court will take judicial notice of the offender information from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
I would now call Ms. Ana Aranda. Ma'am, could you please state your name for the court?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, you cut off a little bit. What was that?
Apologies. I was hoping you could state your name for the court.
Yes, it is Ana Aranda.
Who is the father of your children in this case?
It's Jose Rodriguez.
Has he been previously ordered to pay child support?
Yes, we went back to court, I want to say maybe like, I think we signed papers on 2013 that he acknowledged that Jose, my son, was his biological son and everything, but he hasn't made any payments or anything as far as ever since. I'm not sure if it was in 2013, but I know it's been a while back.
So you agree he's behind
Yes.
on his payments?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with the Attorney General's calculation of his past due child support in the amount of $17,212.80?
Yes, sir.
Would you likewise agree that the calculation is correct for his past due medical support in the amount of $11,051.85.
Yes, sir.
Do you know where Mr. Rodriguez is presently?
No, I know he was incarcerated, but I'm not sure where he's incarcerated or anything. I just know that his family had spoken to me and told me that he was incarcerated.
And changing gears a little bit, how is healthcare covered for your child?
Excuse, what was that?
How is healthcare covered for your child?
I get healthcare through work and stuff.
Are you seeking to continue to carry the child under the
Under
employer?
what? I'm sorry, you cut off a little bit. Under what?
Are you seeking to continue healthcare coverage through your employer?
Yes.
Would the disclosure of your personal information in the final order of this court cause you or the child any increased risk of harm or harassment?
No, sir.
At this time, the state will rest subject to a brief, oh, no, apologies, I cut off there too soon. Ms. Aranda, do you know if Mr. Rodriguez has any
Any
income
what?
at this time?
No, I'm not, that I'm aware of, I'm not sure.
Does he have any outside assets which could provide him financial support, such as oil and gas, investments, real estate?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
So at this time, the state will rest subject to a brief closing argument.
All right. For the record, the court has received the financial report and the offender information. Those documents will be received into evidence. All right, state's recommendation on this matter.
As we have confirmation that Mr. Jose Rodriguez is subject to an order of incarceration exceeding 90 days, I believe the typical presumption of working income has been rebutted, as we have testimony that he does not have any outside assets which could currently be leveraged to pay child support. The state is going to recommend that Mr. Rodriguez's child support and medical support obligations be reduced to 0 at this time due to his incarceration. However, the state is going to request that there be a judgment on past due child support arrears as of the last day of last month in the amount of, if I can get my figures to come up, in the amount of $17,036.80 for past due child support, $10,938.85 for past due medical support. State also requests that a payback rate be set on these past due amounts for $120 for past due child support starting July 1st, 2020 and continuing monthly thereafter, and $95 for past due medical support beginning July 1st and continuing monthly thereafter. There's no request for non-disclosure at this time, as we have testimony that disclosure of Ms. Aranda's information would not lead her to harm. Additionally, continue to be covered through her health insurance via her employer.
All right, due to the current incarceration of Mr. Rodriguez, as evidenced by the report of TDCJA, and based on Texas Family Code, child support and medical support due to his incarceration for the time being, for such time as Mr. Rodriguez is released from custody, child support and medical support will be set at 0 starting on July 1. However, the court will confirm the arrearages in child support and medical support as of the end of May of this year, and a court will set payments on those judgments as recommended. All payments to commence on July. Does that cover all the issues in this case, Mr. Knopf?
It does, sir.
Ms. Aranda, do you have any questions that you understand what we just did today?
No, I have no questions. And yes, I
Okay.
understand. Thank
All
you
right,
so
you
much.
understand that at such time as Mr. Rodriguez is released from custody, you can ask the Attorney General to modify the child support. And then
Mhm.
since he's no longer in custody, we can, then at that point, we can reinstate the child support and medical support obligations. Okay,
Okay,
so keep in touch with them so they can, and they will find out, they have ways of finding out once he's released and start the process again. Okay,
okay,
all
okay.
right.
Thank you so much.
All right, with that being said, that will conclude our hearing for today. Um, Mr. Knauf, if you will prepare the order, send it to me through that DocuSign system. And once I get it, I will sign it. That order will be filed with the clerk's office, a copy sent to Ms. Aranda and Mr. Rodriguez. All right. That being said, then we'll conclude our hearing for today. Mr. Aranda.
I have a
Yes, ma'am.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would my copies, would they be emailed or would they be mailed to me?
I believe whatever address they may have, what would be your preference, ma'am? Would you want it emailed? Or?
Yes, yes, sir. If I can get them emailed.
Okay. All right, Mr. Knauf, if you can make that notation to email that order to her by email.
And just to clarify, will Ms. Aranda need to be listed on the DocuSign, or should it just go to the court?
Just for since it's on the court hearing, just submit it with your signature so I can sign it.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes the hearing. Ms. Aranda, thank you for your participation today. You're free to go, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I still have Ms. Mahaira Perez on the line, and she's the only CP so far. Well, at this point, almost 9:25. Let me bring her in. Yes, Ms. Perez?
Yes.
All right, thank you for joining us back. All right, we're about ready to start the hearing on this case with you and Mr. I believe it's Mr. Leonardo Ramirez?
Mhm.
Yes, okay. All right, the court is calling cause number 2012 DCM 02320. This is a hearing on a motion to modify and to confirm child support arrearage. Parties in this case are Leonardo Ramirez and Mahaira Perez. Let the record should reflect that Mr. Ramirez was served with citation back in January of this year, January the 6th, at some facility of the Texas Department of Corrections. Mr. Ramirez is not present today, nor has he filed a response to the petition. However, Ms. Perez is present today, appearing through the Zoom application. This matter was scheduled for hearing today at 9 o'clock. It is now 9:24. Is the state ready to proceed? Mr. Canal, ready to proceed?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, I know you've been having some.
Douglas Canal for the Office of the Attorney General. Ready to proceed on hearing.
Okay, and Ms. Perez, are you ready to proceed today, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you would please raise your right hand so we can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Aye, sir.
All right. Okay. For the record, my name is Antonio Rodriguez. I'm the Associate Judge for the Title 40 Court here in El Paso, Texas. All right, Mr. Knopf, go ahead.
At this time, the state would offer its updated financial activity report. We did attach a copy of this report to our pleadings. We now seek to have the most current version entered into evidence in compliance with section 157.162 of the Texas Family Code. Copies have been sent to both the court and Ms. Perez via email. Ms. Perez, are you still at mapmondragonlaw@gmail.com?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, oh, apologies.
Okay. All right, pending receipt of that financial report, the court will take judicial notice of the financial report, the updated financial report. All right, go ahead.
At this time, the state would also offer the Offender Information Detail Report from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Offender Search. This indicates that Mr. Leonardo Ramirez, confirmed by his date of birth, is presently incarcerated for a period which will extend over 90 days. I believe his maximum sentence date is extended all the way out to 2031. Court offers that asks this be entered into evidence.
All right. For the record, the court has already received the financial report and has received the report from the Texas Department of Corrections, and those documents will be received into evidence at this time. Go ahead, Mr. Canal.
At this time, the state calls Ms. Perez.
Right?
Ma'am, could you please state your name for the court?
Excuse me?
Oh, apologies, I think I broke up a little bit. At this time, the state calls Ms. Perez. Ma'am, could you state your name for the court?
It's Mahaira Anais Perez.
Who is the father of your children in this case?
Leonardo Ramirez?
Was he previously ordered to pay child support?
Yes.
Has he fallen behind on those payments?
Yes.
Would you agree with the Attorney General's calculation that presently Mr. Ramirez is past due on his child support payments in the amount of $27,081.48?
Yes.
And similarly, would you agree with the Attorney General's calculation that Mr. Ramirez is past due on his medical support payments in the amount of $9,532.16?
Yes.
Do you know where Mr. Ramirez is right now?
Yes.
Where is he?
Oh, I think it's TDCJ at Red. Yeah, I really don't talk to him or anything, but I know he's there.
Do you know if Mr. Ramirez has any income at this time?
I don't think so.
Do you know if he has any outside financial assets which could be leveraged to pay child support? Things like oil and gas, real estate, investments.
No. I wish.
How are your children covered for healthcare right now?
They're getting Medicaid.
Do you have access to private health insurance at this time?
No.
Do you know if Mr. Ramirez has access to any kind of private health care?
I don't think so.
Are you wishing to continue the children's coverage under the appropriate government healthcare assistance program?
Yes. If I qualify, yes.
Would the disclosure of your personal contact information in the final order of this court, would that cause you any additional risk of harm or harassment?
No.
At this time, the state will rest subject to a brief closing argument.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Knopf, state's recommendation on this matter.
As we have evidence that Mr. Ramirez is presently incarcerated and will be incarcerated for the foreseeable future, we have testimony indicating that he does not have any present income or outside resources which can be leveraged to pay child support. The state is going to recommend that Mr. Ramirez's present child support and medical support obligations be reduced to zero starting July 1st, 2020 and monthly thereafter. However, the state is also going to request a judgment on past due child support arrears as of May 31st, 2020, as described in our financial report. That's $26,783.48 for past due child support. $9,399.16 for past due medical support. Likewise, the state is going to request a payback rate be set on that past due child support in the amount of $160 per month, starting July 1st, 2020 and continuing monthly thereafter, and that a payback rate be set for past due medical support in the amount of $90 per month, starting July 1st and monthly thereafter.
All right, due to the current
As we-
incarceration of Mr. Ramirez, as evidenced by the report of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and based on Texas Family Code, for the time being, child support is modified to 0, as well as medical support to 0. However, the court will confirm the child support arrears and medical support arrears as evidenced by the financial report. These arrearages are as of May 31st of this year. The court will further set payments on those judgments as recommended, $160 on the child support arrears and $90 on the medical support arrears. These payments to commence on July 1st. Is there anything else, Mr. Knopf, that needs to be addressed in this matter?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Pettis, do you have any questions or anything that you wish to tell me?
No.
Okay. You understand that because of Mr. Ramirez's incarceration, child support has to be set at 0 for the time being.
Yes.
Now, at such time as Mr. Ramirez is released from custody, we can review the obligations and at that time make appropriate orders for child support and medical support.
Okay.
All right. All right, unless there's anything else, that will conclude our hearing for today. Mr. Knopf, go ahead and prepare the order for my signature. Once I receive it and sign it, it'll be filed with the clerk's office and a copy sent to Ms. Perez. I believe she is requesting that it be sent to her address, if I'm not mistaken. That should be accomplished fairly quickly. So at this point, that will conclude our hearing for today. Ms. Perez, thank you for your appearance. I appreciate your participation. At this time, that concludes our hearing and parties are excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. And it appears we have 2 defaults, 2 double defaults. You know why Mr. Hargis is still hanging around? I think he's still.
So he wrapped up the prior negotiations. I think he's just waiting in the wings right now in case we need to call him in for an emergency. You know, if I were to suddenly just keel over, you've got a backup attorney.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me see. The 2 double defaults would be on Rudy Gavaldon and Mallory Knoll. Let's start with that one. And what's the other one? On David Medina and Rosa Terrazas. Go ahead and, unless there's a particular preference, I'll just go ahead based on the order that I have them in my docket. First one would be David Medina and Rosa Terrazas. With that, let me go ahead and start the record.
That's okay. I've got the exhibits and I'm sending them to you now.
Good, excellent. All right, court is calling cause number 2011 DCM 07959. This is a hearing on a motion to modify and to confirm child support privilege. Parties in this case are Mr. David Medina and Rosa Terrazas. The record should reflect that this matter is being scheduled, has been set for a hearing for today, June 11th at 9 o'clock. It is now 9:36. Neither party is present. The returns indicate that they were both properly served. Mr. Medina was served back on December the 18th at some facility of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Ms. Terrazas apparently was served on January 30th of this year, 2020. And neither party is present. Proper notice has been given to both parties. The record reflects that Mr. Medina did file some sort of response to the petition in which he indicates that he was served with citation and is informing the court that he is currently incarcerated in the Texas Department of Corrections. With all that being said, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Knopf.
This time, the state will offer its updated financial activity report. We'd attached a copy of this report to our pleadings. We now seek to have the most current version entered into evidence in compliance with section 157.162 of the Texas Family Code. Copies have been sent to the court via email.
And for the record, the court has received the financial report as well as the report from the Texas Department of Corrections indicating incarceration of Mr. Medina. All right, go ahead. Those documents will be into evidence.
At this time, the state would offer the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Offender Information Detail Report, indicating that Mr. Medina, as confirmed by his date of birth, is presently subject to an order of incarceration which exceeds 90 days. I believe his maximum sentence date stretches out to 2022. State offers and asks that it be entered into evidence.
All right. Document will be received into evidence. Submitted.
At this time, the state will recommend that as Mr. Medina is subject to an order of incarceration and we have no outside evidence indicating that he has present income or testimony as to additional assets that might be leveraged for the payment of child support, the state will recommend that his present child support and medical support obligations be set at 0. However, the state will also request a judgment on the past due arrears pursuant to the updated financial activity report as of May 31st, 2020, in the amounts of $24,042.31 for past due child support, $12,797.66 for past due medical support. State is also requesting that a payback rate be set on those past due amounts since they are due and owing in the amount of $145 for child support arrears to begin July 1st, 2020 and continue monthly thereafter, and $102 for past due medical support arrears beginning July 1st, 2020 and continuing monthly thereafter. I don't believe the state has pled for non-disclosure in this action, though I would ask that healthcare coverage for the dependents in this case continue pursuant to the prior order.
All right. The court is going to go ahead and follow the recommendation modifying child support medical support at 0. The court will further confirm the arrearages as of May 31st, both in child support medical support as of that date, and will set payments on those judgments as recommended. These payments to commence on July 1st. Anything else in this matter?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead and prepare the order, send it to me through the DocuSign, and once I receive it, I'll sign it, and will be filed, and parties sent, copies will be sent to the parties as soon as it's signed and filed with the clerk's office. Okay, that concludes our hearing in this case for today. And the last one is on Rudy Gavaldon.
All right, just give me one moment to get the exhibits queued up in the email.
Okay.
All right. only occasionally I have to resist the urge to yell at this computer. You work for me.
I understand.
Exhibits just went out the door.
Okay, I sympathize with you, Mr. Cano. Okay, all right, let me put this on the record. We were not on the record, so that's, we're both saved. All right. Court is calling case number 2011 DCM 10623. This is a hearing on a motion to modify and to confirm child support arrearage. Parties in this case are Rudy Gavaldon and Mallory No. It appears that both parties have been properly served with citation. Mr. Gavaldon was served back according to the return on file. He was served back on February the 24th at some facility of the Texas Department of Corrections. Ms. Knoll, according to the return on file, was served with citation back on January the 7th of this year. Neither party is present, although proper notification has been sent to the parties. For the record, the court did receive a response from Mr. Gavaldon, in which he responds that he is currently incarcerated at some facility of the Texas Department of Corrections. That response has been filed with the clerk's office and has been duly entered into the record of the filings. With all that being said, then at this point, we'll go ahead and proceed. Mr. Kanoth, go ahead, sir.
At this time, the state would offer its updated financial activity report. We'd initially attached a copy of the financial report with our pleadings. We'd now seek to have the most current version of that financial document entered into evidence pursuant to section 157.162 of the Texas Family Code.
All right, the court has received the updated financial report that was sent to the court through the email system, and therefore the court will admit the updated financial report.
At this time, the state would also offer the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Offender Information Detail Report, indicating that Mr. Rudy Gavaldon Jr., as confirmed by his date of birth, is subject to an order of incarceration which exceeds a period of 90 days. I believe his maximum sentence date runs all the way up to 2022. The state would offer this and ask that it be entered into evidence.
All right, the court has received the update of the information from the information report, the offenders report from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and that at this time, that document will be received into evidence and admitted into evidence at this time. All right, go ahead.
Because at this time we have confirmation that Mr. Gavaldon is incarcerated, I believe that the normal presumption that he should be working and making an income has been rebutted. Furthermore, we don't have testimony or documentation that he has outside financial resources which can be leveraged to pay child support at this time. Thus, the state is going to request that Mr. Gavaldon's present child support and medical support obligations be reduced to zero starting July 1st, 2020 and continuing monthly thereafter. However, the state is going to request a judgment on past due child support and medical support arrears in the amount of $14,281.03 as of May 31st, 2020 for past due child support, and $8,279.42 for past due medical support as of May 31st, 2020. State is also going to request that a payback rate be set on those past due arrears in the amount of $111 for past due child support and $85 for past due medical 2020. Healthcare, since we don't have any additional testimony on healthcare coverage, should be provided pursuant to the prior order. And I believe non-disclosure was granted in the prior order as well. Therefore, the state is going to request that be continued forward into the present order as well.
All right, the court will follow recommendation modifying child support for the time being, commencing on July 1 due to the current incarceration of Mr. Gabaldon. So child support and medical support would be set at 0 due to that incarceration. However, the court will confirm the child support arrearages and medical support arrearages as of May 31st of this year, as evidenced by the financial report. Court will set payments on those judgments as recommended to commence on July 1st. If there was a prior non-disclosure, the court will continue with the prior non-disclosure of any of Ms. Knowles' information not to be disclosed in the court order that is to be issued in this case. All right. Anything else that we need to address in this matter?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Knopf, if you will go ahead and prepare the order, send it to me to that DocuSign application. I will sign it and we'll file it with the clerk's office and copy sent to the respective parties. All right.
Can do.
Okay, that being said, that concludes our hearing in this case. Okay, I think we're done.
All right.
Got these cases.
I'll see you at 1 o'clock, Judge.
All right, okay, and if you mind telling Mr. Hargis that he can go have a cup of coffee or.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right,
Bye.
thank you.
Okay, Judge.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna get some coming in. Let's see how soon Mr. Hargis can do his orders.
Okay, I already sent them an email for, I mean, it's set for